Welcome to our Lunch and Learn. We have a very special guest, and my name is Marilyn Mosier, and my dear friend, Joanne Shearer Parkin out of Arizona. She and her husband, Jim, live down in Arizona. They love pickleball. They are just an amazing couple, always traveling. She's a mom and a grandma and very, very active in her nutrigenomics business. But her background and how I met Joanne is through a company that we both are in. And Joanne is a master level scientific registered dietitian. And she's also a master level nutritionist with over 40 years of experience in multiple practices. She has a diverse career in critical care nutrition, and she used to be the head dietitian at the Heart Hospital in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And she's a public health nutritionist, diabetes self-management, and food nutrition management specialist. Joanne has held numerous leadership positions in the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics and was instrumental in development of the standards of practice for dietetics in that profession. Joanne is known as a trendsetter and dietitian. She also is at the forefront of nutrition and dietetics in nutrigenomics. And she's going to talk a little bit about today, not only just women in heart disease, but how we can do little steps and tips for our heart health, because we know February is Heart Health Month. And so she's written a cookbook. She's an author. She also served in the military. So thank you for your service, Joanne.
Welcome.
And we are just so fortunate to be able to learn from you and your expertise. And we know that heart disease affects thousands of people, and it is one of the leading killers among cancer and other things. But heart disease is one of the leading killers of both men and women. And so, it is very personal to me because I lost my father-in-law to a massive heart attack at age 59. Wow. And that's when I was introduced to the nutrigenomic the pathway of NRF2, and was really, really intrigued how that could help give us the tool, to maybe help us with some healthy lifestyle tips, to have some control over this heart disease, which seems so, so hard to control. So Joanne, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you share some tips. We have some talking points that we thought today that you could talk with about women and heart disease and the role of the gut health in our heart and how that heart function works, and then ketogenic diets that everybody is on and how that affects our heart health. And we'll talk about the primary root cause of heart disease. And like she said, it's not cholesterol, which, spoiler alert, right? And then what we can do to reduce it, and some of the tools that she can offer us to help us have healthy hearts. So Joanne, run with it, please. Thank you for joining us.
Gosh, thank you. Let's see, 30 minutes. Okay, I'll see what I can do here in Maryland. Well, okay, so first of all, I want to say that, working at the Shearer Heart Hospital back, and I started there in 2000. And of course, I wanted to be like the cardiovascular nutrition expert. So like I'd done my whole career, and this is how I stayed ahead of the trends, was I would go to pubmed.gov and do my own research, look at the research. I mean, that's what I was trained to do. That's when I got my master's degree. We were taught how to interpret research. I knew that the American Heart Association guidelines, by the time they published those guidelines and the print dried on the paper, they were already outdated, because nutrition is changing so fast, right? And especially back then. So I found out that when I did my own research and buried my nose in that research, found out that the root cause of cardiovascular disease was oxidative stress that triggered inflammation. So oxidative stress, that is the stress and the damage done to our bodies by toxic molecules. People know them as free radicals, the free radical theory of aging. I think a lot of people have heard of that. Well, here's the deal. That starts when you're just in your 20s. This oxidative stress starts going up. And then I also learned, as I did more research, is that if you want to combat that oxidative stress, that the dietary pattern that's most scientifically validated, because I'm all about the, we got to have evidence, and that was the Mediterranean diet. So I brought in the Mediterranean diet into the hospital. That was like quite an accomplishment in itself because, this is the Midwest, South Dakota. I was thinking, how am I going to get the farmers to eat a Mediterranean diet? Because it's like 70% of our patients, they're farmers. They're from the rural areas. So I called it Prairie Mediterranean, included a little red meat and designed my own eating guide, put a little red meat in there and, just a healthy overall eating pattern, brought in some flaxseed in there and, just common sense kind of stuff, but tried to emphasize that the center of the diet should be, whole grains, fruits and vegetables, add some fish. So anyway, that was kind of my history there. And the other thing with what I learned about with the oxidative stress piece back in 2000 was that, we all had there's so much emphasis on your cholesterol, like lower your cholesterol, lower your cholesterol. And what I found out is that cholesterol is not necessarily going to get incorporated as plaque in your arteries until it's oxidized. Because once that cholesterol particle, that LDL bad cholesterol particle gets oxidized, that's when your immune system gets activated. That's where you get the inflammation, right? That gets activated. The macrophages from your immune system gobble up that particle and deposit it in the entire arterial wall. So we go back again to the oxidative stress piece. Okay, so fast forward to 2011. Of course, here in the meantime, from 2000 to 2011, I'm really like, yeah, and my dietitian, Nikki Elson with me, we were out like giving these programs to patients and professional people and all about, the Mediterranean diet, Prairie Mediterranean. But in 2011, a cardiologist introduced me to the little yellow pill that he, invited me to a presentation he was giving. And he said, this little yellow pill will lower oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. And I knew because of my past 10 years of studying about oxidative stress, I knew this was a big deal, a big breakthrough, because I'm thinking, wow, Mediterranean diet lowers oxidative stress. Wow. And then you add this little yellow pill. And the little yellow pill is protandim nrf2. Okay. So lower oxidative stress, 40% in 30 days, and actually like 70% in 120 days. And so like basically the longer you take it, the better it is for lowering your oxidative stress. So to me, that was the no-brainer on root cause, how you can actually with diet, a little yellow pill, fasting can help to lower your oxidative stress, inflammation, intermittent fasting. So there's all kinds of techniques and lifestyle, strategies. I do them all. I mean, here's the deal. I do them all. I'm 72. So I'm all about anti-aging, slowing down the aging. So I do all that. So I just encourage everybody, just if you're a guest here and listening to this, is get back to the person who invited you, ask them, get a little more information about the yellow pill, because it's amazing. So what do you want to talk about? What next, Marilyn? I'm not hearing you, Marilyn.
Sorry, about the gut health. Sorry, it was on.
Oh, yes. Okay, next topic. All right, gut health and cardiovascular disease. So I don't think that you can. I mean, in the popular media, I think the gut health is really out there now. I think it is a huge trend, and that people are now becoming so much more aware of their gut health. And the gut health, I call it your gut, I call it the microbiome. That's the sum of all the viruses, the bacteria, the fungi that live within your gut. So there's more DNA in your microbiome than in the rest of your body. It is the organ you didn't know you have. Okay, it's another organ. Your gut impacts every aspect and area of your health, including weight management, including your weight. There's something called the gut-brain connection. It impacts your brain function and mental health, among things. There's something called the gut-lung connection. So your respiratory health, your resistance to disease, right? And then there's something called the leaky gut. So if you don't have a healthy microbiome, then the microbiome protects the lining of your intestinal tract, and it keeps the toxins and the bad stuff from leaking across. So if you get a compromised gut, so that epidural layer of your gut gets compromised, then inflammatory compounds can leak across your gut. Those inflammatory compounds can travel to any area in your body. They can, they can affect your brain, they can affect your joints, they can affect your heart. Okay, so your microbiome is critically important in maintaining that integrity of the gut. And how do you do that? How do you maintain the integrity of your gut? First of all, don't put stuff into your body that's going to kill it off, right? Let's not do that. Let's not destroy it. First of all, let's preserve it, right? So how can you do that? Well, first of all, I think eating a diversity of fiber in your diet is critically important. The diversity of fiber is going to mean a diversity of gut bacteria, the good gut guys, right? Then don't take antibiotics unnecessarily. Avoid them. Like when you go to the doctor and you've got a viral infection, don't take an antibiotic, right? As minimal as you can on the antibiotics. I have refused to take antibiotics, and over the years when I thought I could maybe manage it with my lifestyle and other ways. So that's one thing. Artificial sweeteners can kill off your microbiome as well. So avoid artificial sweeteners. A lot of prescription drugs are really hard on the gut too, and the microbiome. That's another thing too. To minimize your prescription medications if at all possible. So those are, and then of course, I think anything in the environment, your chemicals in your food too, can affect it. So that's one thing. Again, like I said, on the diet side, a diversity of fiber, making sure you're getting plenty of fiber. You can add some extra fiber called prebiotic fibers to your diet. That's another strategy. If you're boost up the fiber, there's special types of fibers called prebiotic fibers that feed, especially like caviar, for those bacteria. So Life Advantage, we have a great prebiotic that does just that. It's the caviar for your healthy gut bacteria. So those are just a few strategies on how you can take care of your microbiome and how you can feed it, how you can preserve it and protect it.
And luckily we have products that can address that.
Absolutely. We have, besides the prebiotic, yes, the probiotic, which is the live bacteria. So you can feed the gut with live bacteria, which is great because Prebio from Life Advantage has a special technology built into the pill that ensures that those bacteria are going to be delivered live into your large intestine where you really need them. And then there's postbiotics, the new kids on the block when it comes to gut health. That's a whole nother, I could talk another 30 minutes on that, but I'm not going to. In Life Advantage, we have a postbiotic as well. It's in the daily wellness. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you said you did do a whole presentation on the postbiotics.
Oh yes, I did a continuing education program for registered dietitians on postbiotics. And in daily wellness, we have a fermented yeast extract that is branded. There's tons of research behind it, and the postbiotic benefits are amazing. Again, the postbiotic promotes that gut-lung connection, especially.
And do you think that as women, as we age, why is it that after postmenopausal that we're more highly at risk? Is it due to the estrogen drop?
Yes, it's related, definitely related, to the estrogen, especially. And I think also because just that oxidative stress goes up and inflammation as you age. I think too, after menopause, women tend to gain weight. Central obesity, if you notice that, like how much harder it is to fight that central obesity, where all of a sudden you haven't changed much of anything and all of a sudden you find that your pants aren't fitting and you're starting to get a little gut. I think that's part of it too. So I think like postmenopausal women have to really, kind of have to step it up. I think, with your lifestyle, with nutrition, exercise, some intermittent fasting, that kind of thing, to kind of combat some of the, metabolic changes that come after menopause.
Okay, and then can you explain that too, then, as if we start getting that middle weight gain, that cortisol, can you explain the danger of cortisol?
Yes. Well, the cortisol, it's cortisol, of course, really can be, it's highly related to stress, especially. But I think this, what with the central obesity, what the issue there, the hormone that's really mostly of concern is insulin. Because what happens is if you start accumulating extra fat around the waist, especially if you're carrying it above your waist, that increases insulin resistance. And that makes your body produce more insulin. Insulin's a fat storage hormone. That's going to cause you to store more fat. It's a vicious cycle, right? So really it's more that, insulin resistance, we call it metabolic syndrome as well, another term for it, and highly, highly associated with heart disease. That increases your risk of heart disease by 300 to 400% when you have this metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance. That's where, your aerobic exercise comes in, particularly. That's where you have to reduce your processed, just processed carbohydrates, just get rid of them, get those out of your diet, and some aerobic exercise, critically important, especially.
Exactly. And then right now, our company has a special on our heart health stack. So it has an omega, proteanum NRF1, and a proteanum NRF2. Do you want to break that down and how that specifically
Yes.
is directed to
Okay.
heart?
Right, because we talked already about, the NRF2, right, for your heart and what it can do to lower the oxidative stress. And then the NRF1, that one is, that actually boosts up the mitochondria. So your mitochondria are your energy factories within your cells. And as you age and get older, the oxidative stress, those toxic, pesky free radicals, they destroy the mitochondria. So you lose your energy factories. And when you use your energy factories, your cells die, and so that's going to affect certainly like every cell in your body, your heart, that's cardiovascular. That's where it affects cardiovascular disease. We know that, the loss of the mitochondria and is also, one of those associations with aging. As you age, you're losing your mitochondria as well. So if you want to boost up your mitochondria function, protect it, that's where the NRF1 comes in. And so if you want to get your heart, the energy in your heart, you want to preserve that energy in the heart, that's what the NRF1 does. Helps with that, heart energy, right? And actually it's also very anti-aging as well.
And then of course,
omega-3,
right.
the omegas. Oh yeah.
We
can't talk about her.
Why are it's different? Why, why?
Oh yeah, it's okay. This is one thing I learned when I was at the heart hospital too, is that you have to really be picky and choosy about your omega-3s and your fish oils that you choose out there, because when fish oils are processed, the fish oil can become damaged, can get rancid, can become oxidized. Well, we just talked about how we just started out talking about how terrible and bad oxidation is and oxidative stress is to your body, right? So you don't want to take a fish oil that's going to add more oxidation. The same thing holds true with your cooking oils and your vegetable oils or whatever you're using. So that's why you should not use vegetable oils, because vegetable oils become easily oxidized and rancid. And that increases oxidative stress and inflammation. That's a no-brainer. Get rid of those, right? Or if your oil, even if it's olive oil, if it smells a little bit rancid, throw it out, right? Same thing with your fish oil. So what we did, Nikki and I did at the hospital, is that we researched and found like 3 or 4 top quality brands that we would recommend, because we're looking for ones that had certifications of quality, cold water pressed from, a certain type of cold water fish. All of that, micro distilled. And so that's the one thing that with Life Antique that we have is like the highest purity quality fish oil you can buy anywhere. It's like you can trace the source of the fish and the fish oil to the boat on which the fish were actually harvested, So that's the one thing that I really love about Life Antique, is that you can be sure to the quality of their products, and especially the fish oil. It's just amazing. And what I like about our fish oil, it is actually a little higher in DHA, Because when naturally, what they do is they just take the old fish and they squeeze the oil out, in a really controlled process. And because fish oil naturally, when you eat fish, is higher in a fatty acid called DHA. DHA is the fatty acid that is most protective for your brain, but then it has almost an equal amount of the EPA, which is protective for your heart. So what's really cool is you're getting both brain and heart protection with the Omega Plus from LifeVantage. So yeah, great product. I'm glad you brought that up. About the
Yeah,
fish.
well, and so omega-7s, that's pretty rare to have in an.
Oh yes, omega-7s, right. Omega-7s is kind of a newer discovered one, and actually kind of added in there to help with the lowering your, helping with that insulin resistance, helping a little bit with weight management. Yes, another little benefit. Thank you, Marilyn. I forgot about the omega-7s in there. Thank you.
So our Heart Stack is, very focused on why they pick those products and put them together. But then you would advise also, because of the gut biome, use a good probiotic like our physique.
Yes. Yes.
And
absolutely.
is a delivery system that really sets our physique probio apart. Do you want to explain a little bit about
Yes,
that?
yes. And the probiotic is, of course, this has always been forever a challenge with probiotic manufacturers and developers, is the fact is that those probiotic bacteria are live, they're very fragile, they're easily destroyed by heat and light. In fact, most of the time, many times, by the time that the probiotic leaves the manufacturer, you've lost a significant amount of live bacteria. And then only 4% survive the stomach acid. So that's what's unique with our probiotic, is the technology built into the pill really makes it shelf stable. So you're getting a shelf stable probiotic. You don't have to refrigerate it, right? It's protective, protects them for 2 years. I mean, it's fantastic. You get a high survivability, 60% or more through the stomach. And then what has time release delivery, so that the probiotic bacteria are delivered alive into your large intestine. Now, this is where you need to get the probiotic bacteria. This is where they really do the work. This is where you get the greatest benefit from the probiotics. The live probiotic is way down deep in your large intestine. And that's what you get with our probio, right? Assurance that, hey, it's really doing the job. And of course, what's really the best proof is all the people who tell me, man, I have one of my friends here in our community, my retirement community, he said that this probiotic changed his life. He said, my bathroom habits have never been better. Talked about his bathroom habits. So anyway, you can see that that's the proof.
Exactly. Well, you've covered a lot of important key elements today. We talked about the root cause of heart disease, and that was, of course, oxidative stress, which our product line, Nerve 2, addresses that and is able to lower that. One of the only products out there proven to lower oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days and 70% after 120. So that is critical. And then a little bit of lifestyle, right? Just, a healthy exercise regimen, a little bit of cardio to do 3-4 times a week, correct?
Right.
Getting plenty of sleep, lowering your stress levels.
Yeah. Mediterranean diet.
That's the diet, what we eat. Our food is our nutrition and our key, exactly. But also, we talk about the popular keto diet and how,
Yes.
people lose all that weight. Do you want to just touch on that and how the dangerous side effect of some of that?
Well, I think the keto diet is like a double-edged sword, really, truly. I think that, many people are very successful with losing the weight on the ketogenic diet. And first of all, maybe we should talk about what is the ketogenic diet, because we have a lot of, kind of confusion about that. There is like what I call the therapeutic ketogenic diet, which is, 85% fat and 5% carbohydrates and the rest protein. That's kind of like what I from years and years and years and being in a dietitian, that's what I learned as far as what is a ketogenic diet. Then there's something that's kind of in the middle road that they also call ketogenic, where it's a high protein diet, maybe 30% protein, 5% carbs, and the rest from fat. So mostly protein and fat. More like the Dr. Atkins diet, right? The strict Dr. Atkins kind of diet. So what is the issues with that? Of course, like I said, the good news is that people, especially men, gravitate toward that because of all the protein in the diet, especially like Atkins with high protein, low carb, and that they can lose weight. And protein is very satisfying. It has satiety, so you can eat and you don't get hungry, right? So, and you're kind of unlimited what you can eat in terms of all the protein foods and low carb, very low carb foods. But so that's a good thing because you're losing a lot of weight. But the research does show that those diets are not very sustainable. So people can't really sustain them very well in the long term. But even in the short term, my concern with those diets goes back to the microbiome. Because you're not getting you're hardly getting any fiber. You're not getting that diversity of fiber that you need for a diversity of microbes, the good gut microbes. You need a diversity of fiber and you're not getting that. The other thing too is because of all the fat, I think that some people are going to be susceptible. This is very individual. Some people are very susceptible to increased cholesterol and triglycerides. And all that fat has to be processed through your liver. So that's another concern. Are you getting an accumulation of fat in your liver? Are you able to process all that? So I think that people want to follow that pattern. I think that it'd be good to, especially if you have any history of any cardiovascular risk factors, probably be under some, medical monitoring. Maybe you're going to get your cholesterol checked. If you have it checked once a year, maybe you're going to do it in 3 to 6 months, right? You're going to kind of want to monitor that. So, there may be some concern too with the kidneys, excessive high protein. For some people could be susceptible to some kidney problems. So yeah, there's, like I said, it's really a double-edged sword completely. Yeah, with that.
Okay, well, you've given us so many great tips and we always learn so much from you and all your expertise of years of experience in dietetics. So does anyone have a quick question before we let Joanne jump off? We have a few guests on or some of our team members if they have any questions. Otherwise, I think you covered mainly, the root cause of heart disease, the gut biome.
Lots covered.
Yeah. Okay.
It was fun.
Well, we wanted to keep it to 30 minutes and I think we've done that. So I appreciate all your time, Joanne, and just for sharing with us today. It's truly so helpful because we know that we have this heart stack actually on sale right now. Get back to the person that invited you to this information. They can help get you started on some of these products and be proactive with your health and especially, take care of our loved ones because we know this is heart health is, for February, but it's all year round. We love our heart. Yeah. We love taking care of our loved ones and being healthy. So thank you so much, Joanne. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks, everybody. Have a blessed day. Take care.
Bye now.